sitting here in my studio reading this article about the United Healthcare CEO being assassinated, and I've been seeing a lot of news media reporting on it, and I felt like I needed to say something about that issue. And let me tell you why. In 2015, I lost my wife to cancer 9 years ago last month, and she was denied life-saving medical care. It happens to real people, and there's probably a lot of us out there that have similar stories. Back in October of 2015, my wife was diagnosed with metastatic melanoma, stage 4. She had tumors all over her liver. The only medication, you can't do chemotherapy for that. The only medication you can use to help beat the cancer back is immunotherapy. And what they do, and I don't want to get too technical, but it's important in the context of this story and the denial of services, denial of life-saving medical services. You have to give them a drug that boosts their white blood cells, which fight off disease and cancer. And then you give them an immunotherapy that takes those white blood cells and turns them in it supercharges them, and they go in and kill the cancer cells. So they got her on the first drug, and she started doing better. Her white blood cell count started going up. It was really low. And but then they denied her the immunotherapy. Now, this has been prescribed by the oncologist, and they denied it and said no. So now I'm sitting there, watching my wife die in front of me. I'm having to go home, try to take care of my 2 boys, and now try to figure out how do I get her medication to keep her alive. And the doctor tried to appeal the decision of the company. Now, this is a business model for all insurance companies. It's not just one. So all of them have the same actuarial tables to determine whether or not they're going to cover somebody. And quite frankly, the way that I looked at it is if you're paying your premiums and you get sick and the doctor says you need X, then that's what you're supposed to get. They don't get to decide whether or not you get X from your doctor. That's not the way it's supposed to work. And that's what happened. So the doctor tries to appeal the decision and gets denied multiple times. And I don't know what else to do. So I take to the internet. At the time, 2015, the only real social media that was out there was Facebook. So I went on this huge campaign, and I got the name of the guy who signed the letter denying her services. I don't know if he was the right guy or not, but he signed the letter. So he's complicit. And I took his name, his phone number, and his email, and I stuck it on the internet. Probably ruined his life. And quite frankly, I don't really care. So we go on this campaign, and we're getting phone calls and we're getting emails from all over the country. And as a matter of fact, this is 2015 now, okay? I actually got an email from then Donald Trump saying that this should never happen in America. It blew me away. I could not believe that someone took notice of this issue. So the company relents and decides, okay, we're going to give her the medication. Well, time has passed. She's now doing worse, but she starts taking the medication. And now the first medication that she was taking to help her get her white blood cells out, they cut that one. And we try to appeal that one. They never do go back. And the only way that we can get it is this angel of a nurse in the oncologist's office show up one day. My wife was 50 years old. She had red hair, blue eyes, beautiful, vibrant woman. And I'm wheeling her in a wheelchair. She doesn't even look the same. And I go in and I tell them what's going on, and I say, that drug we have to have the other drug. The immunotherapy doesn't work. It just destroys their body. So she takes me and my wife, and she rolls us back into a little room. I think it was a storage room. And she literally hooks my wife up to an IV to give her that medication. I know she was not supposed to do that. Someone opens the door and says, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I'm giving her her medication," and basically gives her the eye like, "Get out of here. Just get the fuck out of here." And it didn't. It was really almost too late. It was too late for it to help at that point, but I appreciated the thought that she was just trying to do anything she could to help my wife to live. And I hear on TV and on the news media, Fox News and others, talking about this poor CEO. He was a father of two and a husband. And I thought to myself, and this is the reason why I'm talking today, is it kept coming on and over again. And it was like somebody stabbing me, because all I could think of is, you know what? Leah was a wife and a mother of two, and nobody reported on her. Nobody seemed to really care. We just felt out there alone. Nobody was helping us except family and friends and people we could get to help us. But there was really no outlet for us to try and get her the care that she needed. Ultimately, she just deteriorated, and there I am standing at her bedside in the ICU, holding her hand, telling the nurses it's time to turn off the machines. You don't ever want to be there. And then thinking to myself, after I leave this room, I have to go home and tell my two boys what just happened, that their mom's not coming home. Now, I don't really want to hear about how great this gentleman was, and their family doesn't have anything to do with whatever his company was doing. So I pray for his wife and his kids, because I know how horrible it is to all of a sudden be left alone, and you just have to deal with it. There's no going back. There's no fixing it. So I tried to do something about it. My sons and I formed an association called the No More Melanoma Foundation, and we did that for one specific reason, and that was because we wanted to create a piece of legislation that said, if you're paying for your premiums and your doctor prescribes you life-saving medication, you cannot deny it. I don't think that's all that crazy. I think that's what everybody believes when they sign up for health insurance. We filed that bill, and we testified on that bill. Now, my boys were supposed to be there, but they pushed us back in the morning, so I had to take them back to school. So I testified all by myself in front of this committee of members that I knew, everyone up there. They all knew me. Some of them knew my wife. And behind me were 20-plus lobbyists from the insurance companies, all people I know. And I told these legislators, I said, you know what? The only people that are going to change this, I said, I don't blame these people behind me, because they're doing their job. They're being paid to kill legislation like this. And I know y'all are going to kill this legislation, and it's out there. The film, the state has the testimony. And I said, only you can make them change their practices. And didn't do a damn thing, but I got it on the record. And I felt like I had to say something, because, coming up on the 9th year this year, we've had some very tough struggles. When you lose somebody that close to you, you're the mother of your children, it breaks you in ways you didn't realize. And it broke me in ways that I didn't even realize it would. It's still, to this day, as fresh as it was 9 years ago. And I'm hoping that at some point there'll be enough push at the national level to try and correct what is a very corrupt system. And as someone who's represented a lot of corporate entities, I can tell you there's a lot of corruption in these companies, particularly in the healthcare arena. When you're talking about healthcare companies, pharmaceutical manufacturers, PBMs, generic makers, generic manufacturers, hospitals, they control the entire healthcare system, and you have no control. Those are businesses. Those aren't healthcare companies. And doctors have been neutered. So if you've noticed that your doctor can never do anything for you, that's because they've been neutered. And I have doctors in my family. So I know I know what it does to doctors. So it's a horrible system, and I frankly hope nobody ever has to go through it. But I'm afraid you see something like this with this CEO being assassinated, and it makes me feel like someone just had enough. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying I know that feeling. I was there. I wanted to fly to the headquarters of this company and grab them and say, "What are you doing? You're killing my wife." So I just wanted to make sure and get on the record with this, and hopefully this will help somebody and reach somebody so that that changes can be made so that nobody else has to suffer like we have.